Okay, I have Captain Phasma near done. There's a couple of issues. One, this is the cloth cloak. It is not the plastic one. I think the cloth one looks way better than the plastic one. But I lost the red sticker that goes along here. I don't like the red sticker anyhow, so I think it would be best if I just went and bought some red fabric paint and painted it with that. That stuff isn't very expensive. You can find it at your local big box hobby shop pretty easily. It is a little bit on the puffy side, but I think if I smooth it out, it'll be fine. The biggest issues with this kit are the hands and the arms. And I mean, you're looking at it, and I've got it where you can see it fairly well. You don't really see any nib marks until you start looking along these arms. Okay? The seams are kind of bad on the arms. But then again, this is two-piece armor. You're going to have a seam line, and it should be visible, like right along here. But the problem is you can see the nib marks. The sprue attaches to the part on the seam. It's actually on the seam instead of on the part, except for in a few spots on the hands. Like, if I run my finger across it, I can find it on the hand right about right here. And if you look really closely at the hands, you can see the attachment points on the hands. But all in all, it comes out looking pretty nice when it's done. It comes with 6 hands. Okay? Those are 2 of the hands that are on there. It does come with a gun. Now, my big problem here with the gun also is it's fully chromed. And if you look at the box art, this gun is not fully chromed. So I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. I don't want to dechrome it. I know how to dechrome it. I don't want to dechrome it and repaint it. I just want to try to highlight it with some like black oil paint or something. But getting that paint to stick to the chrome might be a bit difficult considering what this is. But there's some pretty heavy textures on here, so I might be able to get the black paint to stick, black oil paint to stick where I want it to on it. So I'm going to try that first. If that doesn't work, I'll strip the paint and strip the chrome and paint it. But getting that chrome shine finish back, well, I've done all clad chrome. Done it numerous times, and you can look pretty good, but I don't think it'll ever quite look as good as this. Alright, well, there are some decals to be put on here. I'm not doing that today. I want to get the red fabric paint. My Hobby Lobby is right next door to the pet shop, and the 2 monster cats in this house need cat food. So it's an excuse to stop at Hobby Lobby. I'll just get the paint at the same time. Okay? So I will have this one done pretty quickly, very, very soon. It's been enjoyable. It goes together really well. Again, the other problem is the real cloak uses up more room on the head joint than the plastic cloak does. But the plastic cloak just doesn't look right to me, because it's definitely plastic. I know that makes it look like a doll. Well, I should just take the cloak and do this between my hands a little bit to loosen it up and remove its stiffness. And I think that will help an awful lot, getting some wear into it. And folding it a little bit, I think, helps some too, so it doesn't stick out so bad. But anyhow, there's Captain Phasma. A little bit more work and it's done. Again, there's some decals to go on her, and that is a her, and a few other things. Hope you've enjoyed so far. There's probably one more short segment left. See you guys later. Here we are in Captain Phasma. With the last video, you saw that it's not a bad model kit. You just have a few nib marks you really can't do much about. What I'm going to do now is remove the cloak and paint it. It gets a red stripe along here. Now, I do have something I can use for scale. I lost the red stripe sticker. And the kit comes with a plastic cloak and a cloth cloak. Here's the plastic cloak. So I do have reference for how thick the stripe should be. I've got some Tamiya tape here. I've got some fabric paint, and you can see that's a really close match in color. And I'm going to paint it. And I also have some Tamiya tape for curves in case I have to curve it, but I don't think I do. This stuff is excellent. I tried it out the other day on something curvy, and wow, it works great. So let me pull the head off Captain Phasma here. Pop. pull the cloak apart. Now this stripe has to go down this side of the cloak, okay? And Captain Phasma looks funny with no head. All right, and I need it to be about yay wide. And that's really, it's a nice straight cloak. If I find a spot now, I'm going to get a piece of construction paper out. I found a sale place for construction paper the other day. I got a huge pack of extra size construction paper for 25 cents in a discount clearance bin. This stuff is big, it's heavy, it works wonderful for doing stuff like this. I got a big enough piece of Tamiya tape here. I'm just going to tape it right down on the construction paper and leave that stripe right about the width I want it. Ooh, this is fun because you don't want to stay consistent. I don't think the cloak is straight. I probably should have done this without putting it on the figure. No, the cloak is not cut straight. That's why I got the tape for curves out. Okay, I might have to curve this a little bit to try to keep that thing a consistent stripe width. Oh, there it goes. Oh, curving a little bit right there. That's fairly good. I'm going to leave it at that. It's taped down to the paper, so it shouldn't go anywhere, and that paper should act as a good holder for me. Now I get my paint. I'm going to use a paintbrush on this. The girls have been doing a lot of painting with craft paints on wooden things we buy at craft stores. That's just for fun. It gives them something fun to do, so they feel like, well, not feel like, they are getting something accomplished. They're learning how to paint with a brush, which is good, and they have fun doing a lot of fun painting their things. Like Mary's car. This is what Mary's painting right now. She's got so much paint on the keychain that it doesn't move. But she's got some good color coverage going on that car. I don't know if I got that on camera. Kind of. She's got some good color coverage going. They paint whatever they want. I don't hold them back on their paints. So whatever colors they feel like, whatever they want. And they're craft acrylic, so they wash off really easily. You just can't get them on clothes. They don't wash off clothes at all. Alright, almost got this done. I probably ought to pause this for a little bit and clean this up some so I don't make a mess all over the house and get something to put the paint on. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I got some craft paint here. One of the things I've been doing is I've been collecting my prescription bottles instead of throwing them away because they work great as paint cups and all sorts of stuff. You're going to throw them away anyhow, so why not use them for something like holding some paint for a little bit? That's what I've been doing with them. I'm just using a big old craft brush. This isn't a good paint brush. Getting some paint on it, and I don't mind smearing it there. And let's put it on this cloak. Oh, this is what I was afraid of. Paint saturation on this cloak. It's going to take a couple of coats to get that color down right. The paper and everything else takes it really well. If I dab it, I can get it on there, but it'll look worn. There we go. It might take a couple of coats to get this to look right, but that's okay. And again, this is fabric paint. This is designed for fabric. And Captain Phasma won't be, like, moved around a whole lot, I suspect. Probably going to be in a glass case most of the model's life. I know I'm putting it on pretty thick. You shouldn't do that. If I was painting a model, couple of coats. painting some cloth, so we'll see. But I wouldn't put it on this thick on a plastic model. And it looks like the cloth is absorbing it somewhat too. Alright, we're going to let that dry for a while and see what it comes out like. I don't know what the drying time on this is. There are instructions on the back of the jar. Probably ought to read them. Shake well, cardboard between fabric, apply paint to fabric, air dry 4 hours, heat set with a hot iron. By pressing cloth, hand wash cold. After 72 hours, clean up while wet with soap and water. So, you're supposed to iron this. That's what I'm done. I gotta get an iron and iron this thing. That will be interesting. Okay? Apparently an iron will heat set the dye to the fabric that's in there. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go clean this brush up. I don't know if it says what cleanup is, but I bet water will clean it up. For right now. So I'm going to go clean the brush up, and we're just going to let that sit for a while. And I bet I got a good saturation of color right there. I'm going to give it one more dosing, because this is probably the color level I want without doing it again. Right there. Go clean my brush. I can throw this away because it's disposable. Because I was going to throw it away anyhow. And I will come back when I've ironed it and show you what it looks like. We'll see how it looks on Captain Phasma. But I bet that's fine, and I bet that's exactly what I want. And for those of you, I got this in my local big box hobby shop. It's Fabric Creation Soft Ink Color. The color, and my eyes are old. I'm getting old up there, I know. My eyes are telling me I can't read. It's crimson. It's 25979 crimson. It'll focus in a minute so everyone can see what color I'm using right there. Okay? Got it at Hobby Lobby. Here you go. I'll be back in a little while. Alright, everyone. I bet some of you aren't surprised that the red didn't show on the cloak. And we've got another problem on my hands. When I start peeling up the tape, that red paint acted like glue and glued the cloak down. So the cloak is glued to the paper somewhat, and I have to be really careful how I peel this up. I tore part of the cloak. Now on the good side is that it worked beautifully on the flip side of this cloak. It didn't work good on the side I wanted it to work on, but it worked beautifully on the side I did. Oh, there we go. That's good enough for me. Now, it just has to be heat sealed, and the only thing that broke, woo, don't knock the camera off. Let's zoom in on this so people can see it a little bit better. It actually worked the way I wanted it to. The only thing that broke is the notch up there on the top for the head, and I can probably just kind of glue that on and bypass that. Now, this stuff's supposed to be heat set with an iron, so I need to heat set this. And I don't mind that it looks a little funny. Her cloak was always kind of, well, I don't know if it was messy or not. I'm going to take it that way. Actually, no, the cloak has a very nice definitive stripe to it. And we're not getting that here. I bet if I did another application after I iron set this, it will be nice and definitive. We're going to go ahead and iron that. Actually, I think I'll put another coat down. Let me tape that back down. Put another coat down, and let's see if that will fix it. So, since that's set, now I let that sit for like a week and a half. That wasn't just for a short period of time. It sat for a while. I thought it was really messed up, and it turns out it really isn't that messed up, so I'm kind of actually happy with it. I will be back and show you what it looks like with a second coat of coloring.